Mark Johnson, thanks so much for the gift of your time today. We truly appreciate it. And you've had a lot of good things to talk about lately.
Yeah, Doug, it's good to be on with you. I certainly have. And, I was on ESPN here after Coach Prime had been hired, and we talked about kind of where Colorado football had been. And the guy said to me, "Who do you feel most excited for?" And I said, "I know this is going to sound selfish, but in my 20th season, I've called a lot of bad football." I said, "I'm more excited for me that I finally get to call some great games." And that's only half true. I'm just excited for Buff Nation because they're finally getting some long awaited attention, some long awaited success, and a proud program that was down to the dumps for quite some time is now getting to see the light of day once again, and it's awful fun.
And Mark, I do want to talk about your story and your journey, but let's pick some low-hanging fruit here. I mean, the first two games of the season that you've had a chance to call, and I look back at last year when you won one game, and I know what it's like. I've done college football where your team never wins. It just changes everything about your approach to the day, and in some ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's hard. You try and remain a professional, and you try and go about your business the way you're supposed to. Winning or losing shouldn't affect how we are in the broadcast booth, but it does get harder as the season goes on. And we were 1-11 last year, and I've been telling people it was a bad 1-11. We were getting blown out the last 6, 7 games by an average about 30 points a ball game, and so it was really bad football I was calling. So you come in, you try and prepare the way you're supposed to, and broadcast the way you're supposed to, and have energy the way you're supposed to, but it does wear on you after a while. So that's an awful tough deal. The great Jack Buck once said, "There's nothing better than calling winning baseball, and nothing worse than calling bad baseball." I think that probably encompasses all sports. And so when you're the voice of a team that is not winning, not just a little bit, but not winning at all, it really takes some effort. I used to tell my broadcast partner, the great coach Gary Barnett, we'd be in another ball game and it would get lopsided, and I'd say, "Gary, we're about ready to earn our paychecks because there is no reason from a game standpoint for fans to continue to listen. We have to be better. We have to broadcast better. We have to be more entertaining. We have to be more informative." And so it is some heavy lifting at times when you're in a situation like that.
Yeah, there is that point when you're broadcasting for the team that's losing 38-0 that you're down to parents, grandparents, and girlfriends listening.
That's about it.
Pretty slim audience. Have you ever, and you're a very experienced broadcaster, and you've done a lot in your career, though, have you ever seen a single individual have so much impact as what Deion Sanders has done there in Colorado and Boulder?
No, I don't think there would be anybody else. I've said many times during this transition that Coach Prime is one of one. And I was on some network at some point, and somebody asked me, they said, "Really, you don't think anybody else would have this kind of impact?" And I thought for a second, I said, "Well, maybe if Oprah Winfrey decided she wanted to coach." I mean, I don't know who that would be because, there are plenty of great coaches. I mean, you got the Nick Sabans of the world and the Dabo Sweeneys and people like that are phenomenal coaches who become celebrity because of the success they have. But what we're talking about here with Deion Sanders is he is one of the greatest athletes of all time. You know who the conversation is going to include: Bo Jackson and going down the line, Michael Jordan or whoever you want to put in there. He's in that conversation as one of the great athletes of all time. Then he's become a cultural icon as a result of what he's done, not only on the playing surface, but also, within the business world and the broadcasting world and the cultural world. And so he brings a totally unique presence to the University of Colorado, and it's changed everything. I've said many times, it's like a tsunami has hit Boulder, Colorado. It's affected every aspect of this athletic department. I looked at Gary last week down at Fort Worth, and I said, right now our words are being magnified 1,000-fold, just based on the association with the program because of what Coach Prime is. It affects everything. And so, the attention becomes greater for everybody involved. And so it really has been a total transformation.
I'll have to confess, I'm pretty good friends with Brian Estridge, the radio voice down at TCU, and I always pull for them by proxy, except when I was watching the game against you guys, and I was just thinking, this is such a rare moment. So my apologies to my good friend Brian Estridge for being a little bit of a traitor there, but he gave you some good moments.